Hi everyone, Maria here, and welcome to Season 1 of GGUTTALKS, GGUTT, a podcast focusing on business and tech for good, experience design, and gut feelings. But the most important thing is experience, and being surrounded by people who have been through it can help as well. But also, people who, that's like completely another topic, but the word mentor, I mentor in different accelerators and so on. And I really dislike this word, mentor. But you use it, right? Because that's how they put you in in this bucket. But there are having kind of industry leaders and so on, because can help, because they know what's happening inside, and then getting out of it and having people who are more generalists can help as well. So it's a combination, but about buzzwords, I think that would be a topic for, and because I like that one, but
I like the simple language, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should start coming back to the embrace it, to the simplicity. Sometimes I feel like we just we say a lot, and I try to catch myself as well, because really I've been worse mostly when I was operating within the London ecosystem and London environment. We were just all so buzzy and buzzwordy. And this experience working with people in Pakistan has challenged me and taught me a lot around just be simple, be practical. It's interesting. Like, Maria, I have to tell you, I came there in one of the businesses that we work with. They have, so it's an agri-tech business. And what they do is that they provide advisory services through very basic phones to farmers across Pakistan. They have worked with about 7 million farmers when we joined them. And it's a family-owned business, grow very organically. And I was amazed how they managed to grow to 7 million number. I mean, when I compared it to what the experiences I used to have in the previous world, like mostly London and US, when we were building like MVPs, a buzzword, right? The first product testing, you've had like 50 customers and you were already on TechCrunch, right? And here you go. You have this startup that is sort of unknown. It's not a startup. Also, the word startup does not really exist. I mean, it's now, yes, people use it, but it's still, I think they leapfrogged, they jumped it. It's like they're building companies and they're enabled by technology. And so when I actually looked under the 7 million, like looked on the organization, on the processes, it was sort of non-existent. It was very organically built. So when we came in there, now they serve about 16 million. So we helped them to scale, but it was very important to sort of go back to the foundation, put in some, not to overburden it by processes, but to understand what it means really to build a digital company and how you can grow further, because they were sort of reaching that top. But it amazed me. It was a very refreshing experience to meet with entrepreneurs who were not using those words, who were very hungry for knowledge and for support. We didn't even use, again, the word mentor. We simply were there with them as co-founders. That's also our analogy. We don't see ourselves as advisors and mentors. It's more as a co-founders. Our model is sweat equity, so we really sweat for the work. We work with them, so
and you learn a lot, I guess, because they're in the trenches, right? They know the culture, they know how it works. But having another perspective helps as well.
Yeah. So for me, it was important because my other two co-founders, they're senior entrepreneurs and investors. They're both Pakistani, but they both lived abroad. So collectively, I think one of the big sort of advantages that we bring to the local founders is also that global experience. So we are helping them to also, when they do their competition analysis, we help them to actually look beyond the borders of Pakistan, which usually they did not, right? We help them to think around some of the ways how to approach, again, as we were talking, like what it means to go and test out there, what it means to have a customer-centric approach, design thinking. I mean, those are some methodologies, but we're breaking it into very small pieces and steps. So that comes from that experience of living it, breathing it in different markets as well. So yeah, that's I would say it's one of the big part of the value, but it's a brilliant learning experience. I'm very grateful and try to be also quite humble about it, because I'm in some way visually I'm still a foreigner. No, and I'm saying it very consciously.
Sorry, in some way, I missed that part.
So in some way, and I would say consciously, I'm saying visually, I can still be seen as a foreigner, as an outlier with them, right? But it's been really beautiful, because from very early on, I felt this strong sense of belonging, and then I sort of was able to assimilate into the culture and just sort of be global citizen, just be Vladi. I really don't wear my identity of being a Slovak white straight woman. I'm Vladi, and then they're them, and sort of we work on those mission driven, ventures. And yeah, that's been very important for me, mindset wise, how I approach my living and days.
So you if we talk about in a self-centric way, you try to make sure that you are Vladi, you want to stay Vladi, because from the outside, they might look at you as being, this white European girl, right?
Yeah, the word for it's Gora, Gora and Gori. That's are the
Gora,
white foreigners.
How did you manage to? I don't know if the word is correct, to achieve this, personally, but also with them, in the way they perceive you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you need to nurture if you want a relationship, or you try to set it out from the beginning, and how do they perceive it? At least, how do you feel they perceive it?
Mm-hmm. So it was an evolution, sort of, and also I'm learning every day. But this is maybe also what it's beautiful, because we can talk about how your podcast is called, which is the guts, right? Because it does plug in there. The intuition for me is very important for this as well.
I need to do that, because you actually started it, so
so let's do it properly. So speaking about the intuition and guts, so when I entered, I remember it's now about 3 years, when I sort of my first few really days in Pakistan. I remember that what I was trying to be very conscious about, I was at that point in time, I was called in for a project. I wasn't doing what I'm doing today. I was called in for a project to work with a major technology scale up as an advisor, that how they saw me, to help them build this learning, nurturing, adaptive culture. Like what does it mean from a human point of view, people, a sort of organizational perspective, to grow to a bigger level, to scale. So that was my role. And I had the counterpart. I had somebody who called himself a head of people and organization. His name was Facher. And I remember entering a sort of a boardroom, and they introduced us, and I was supposed to like bring all my knowledge and magic and present it. And I that's how that's what the ask was. It was like, okay, like, tell us, like, how are we going to do it? And I was like, on the way there, I thought through it, and I was like, that's not the way I can do this. Like, I cannot come into the room like a white European woman and be like, oh, I know all that. And I'm going to tell you, like, wait, listen, I'm going to tell you how you need to do this. So I knew that that's immediately wired in the wrong way. So I approached it in a conversation. I introduce myself by my experience. Who am I as an individual? I try to connect it on a human level from the first moment. And Maria, then I was curious. So how I actually started it was with a lot of questions. So from day one, it was important for me that we operate as partners, and not from any power dynamic or hierarchy because naturally they look up to you, because there is that notion that the I'm going to go in a sensitive topic here, but the whiteness, it really gives you some sort of a privilege in that country. It gives you people look at you differently. And for me, that was new because I never walked into the room with the color of my skin, right? At least I never wanted to be aware of that. Although I did try to understand the challenges that people have had in their own experiences that are related to, let's say, race and their identities.